The Black Ops series spans decades and multiple generations of soldiers, usually named Mason, getting into all kinds of mind-melting, acid-tripping, and self-pres terminating adventures. But across the famed Call of Duty subseries, there's always been one title whose story has been pushed aside, buried as a footnote on an otherwise complete timeline. I'm talking about the game that launched without a standard single-player campaign, but whose story instead was told through nothing but audio logs, brief cutscenes between tutorials, and context clues, which may be the wildest of them all. As the only Black Ops series to live up to its name, this is the 100% canon story of Blackout. And be warned, because, whoo, boy, is it a doozy. The year is 2040 or so, and we're introduced to our first two characters. We got Savannah Mason, daughter of David Mason, and of course, that makes her granddaughter of the main man himself. She is a CIA operative and businesswoman who has used her position in both to become the world's first trillionaire. Way to go, Mason. Now, she is also voiced by Kate from Lost, which doesn't have any bearing here. I just am glad to see her in other stuff that isn't Ant Guy and the Fly or whatever. And then in this corner, we have our second main character, Jessica Mason, sister to Savannah and daughter of Mason and granddaughter of the other Mason. That's how lineage works. I'm glad that we could have this family tree lesson together. Now, she also has a daughter named Lucy, who does not really matter that much, but, you know, in interest of the whole family lineage thing, I still put her on there. And now the main thing that you need to know about these two is they do not like each other. Thanksgiving in the Mason household doesn't exist. Not an observed holiday. They're Jewish. Although a good part of that is probably because David Mason is nowhere to be found. He does not appear in Black Ops 4 at all, despite it being only 2040, meaning he would be at most like 60. So he's gonna get a fat MIA sticker from me. Now, the first cutscene that we see is of Savannah Mason and Lucy going to Jessica's funeral. That's right, she is fucking dead. We're only 15 seconds into this thing, and we already have our very first flashback sequence. See, she was on a mission with two dudes that I'm sure you will recognize, Ruin and Battery. But unfortunately, the mission was ruined and Jessica underwent some lethal battery. So she's, fucking dead. Now, after the death of her sister, Savannah takes it upon herself to start something called Project Blackout. A super secret project that is so secret, I don't fully understand what the purpose was. But I do know that one goal of the project was to resurrect the dead in the form of these things called archetypes. It's not 100% clear if this is like a cloning situation or if you're like literally taking the dead body and like giving it fucking CPR and suddenly you have, grandpa's back. I don't know. All that I do know is that David Vonderhaar has gone on record saying that the people are real, that it's not like a simulation or something. It is, these are physical human beings running around. And it's unclear exactly how many archetypes they made, but we are aware of 6 of them. The first one is good old Alex Mason, Savannah's grandfather, whom she has never met. And upon making him, she seems to have brainwashed him and trapped him in Verrucht, the zombies map. I don't know why. Then the second archetype, his best friend, Frank Woods, who did not get the same treatment as Mason. In fact, she fell in love with him. Aww. Which is extra odd because after the original Woods killed Alex Mason, real Woods came in to raise the one and only David Mason as his own son. Which means that presumably Savannah grew up with Woods as like her surrogate grandfather. And that's icky. And the third archetype was Raul Menendez, the Nicaraguan drug cartel leader who tricked Savannah's surrogate grandfather into killing their real grandfather and then tormented Mason his entire life before, I think, killing himself. I don't know what the canon ending is. I think in most of them, though, he dies. Really weird guy to bring back, especially when you then take into account that after reviving him, Savannah placed him in charge of Project Blackout. The entire thing is being run by Menendez. Why? I don't know. Anyway, the fourth one is technically it's Hudson, although he doesn't show up at all. I believe he was only placed on this list because he's later introduced in Blackout as part of like the DLC. So I think they just kind of added him to this list retroactively. The only place that I see any reference to him as an archetype is on like the wiki. You know, none of the intel actually says anything. So if I had to guess, this is a big fat retcon. But also, like, it's not the most out of place thing here. Oh, and also as part of Project Blackout, Savannah travels around the world, Nick Fury style, to recruit the best soldiers, assassins, and Mohawk enthusiasts to join her team. Again, what are they doing? Don't stop. Questions at the end. And this team is made up of all of the specialists, all of the Black Ops 4 specialists, all the ones that you see in multiplayer, they're there. As well as Battery and Ruin. Which, by the way, can we just talk about how the plot of every Call of Duty game now is putting together an elite team of super soldiers? Like, that's Task Force 141, that's Vanguard. I'm pretty sure that's still, like, Cold War. If you really fucking think about it, it's Adler going from nation to nation, taking people and putting them in a safe house for safekeeping. Anyway, so it's only fitting that Black Ops 4 would have the exact same plotline. But now is where the fun actually begins. Because, well, Savannah's out there getting woody with Woody and giving her grandpa dementia. Jessica comes back into the fold. That's right. She may be fucking dead, but she's back. And that's because Savannah actually cloned her as the 6th archetype. I'm sorry, did I say 6? I meant 5. So far there's 5. There's 1 left. I'm gonna save the last one, mostly for dramatic effect, because, you know, I'm a storyteller. However, this Jessica does not like Project Blackout one bit. Fucking hates it. Even though she's alive because of it. I don't know, you know, maybe it's a moral thing. You know, who am I? Which leads to Menendez wanting to have her assassinated. However, Savannah still sees this as her sister, right? It's an archetype. Now, I'm not exactly sure why she's treating this one like it's her sister when her surrogate grandfather, she is boning, and she is trying to gaslight her actual grandfather into thinking that, I actually don't know what she's trying to do with Mason. So Savannah has a talk with Menendez and tells her, like, hold on, don't kill her. I'm gonna talk to her. I'll invite her over for Thanksgiving and we'll have a nice get together and we'll talk things out. We'll talk it out. Oh, actually, but also, wait a minute. At the same time, I think, Woods here goes to Verrucht to talk to Mason, and he starts feeding him intel to kill Jessica himself. And now, presumably, that's all, like, on the up and up with Savannah because they're, like, in a relationship. So, presumably, Savannah had Woods go to Mason and try brainwashing him into killing his own granddaughter. But she would not let Menendez do it because... And now, meanwhile, Battery and Ruin start getting mysterious calls by a mysterious someone by the name of... No one knows! Yeah, they're using a voice modulator or something, but they keep telling them stuff like, don't listen to anyone, and the truth lies, or something. You know, some bullshit fucking marketing ploy. And eventually, they agree to meet this mysterious stranger at... a safe house. Meanwhile, Savannah finally goes and talks to the fake Jessica over here and tells her to, you know, cool it on the whole anti-Project Blackout propaganda, right? Get your yard signs out of my lawn, okay? I don't care for politics, man. However, she pulls an oopsie and fucking kills her. Just shoots her in the fucking head. And so now she is fucking dead. No more question mark. full-on assassination. She got assassinated. But meanwhile, back with Ruin and Battery, they get to the safe house. And what they find will shock you. It turns out the mysterious voice was none other than the real Jessica.
Oh, wow, man.
Because as it turns out, the entire time, she was presumed KIA, but she actually survived. And she has secretly been working in the shadows to recruit all of the specialists to her side. And now, she has Battery and Ruin as part of the gang. So now, it's all of the specialists over here on this side versus Savannah Mason and the archetypes on this side. Kind of a big war kind of fighting. Then going back to Mason and Woods, I think is going rogue here. I'm not sure, but he's trying now to break Mason's programming, but just nothing's getting through. The dude is just sitting in a wheelchair speaking nonsense. Kind of like me if I was in a wheelchair. And so Woods decides that he needs to break out the big guns, and he calls upon the first ever archetype that was ever made, a perfect clone of Tricky Vic. Richtofen. No, what? Reznov. Fuck. Honestly, Richtofen would also make sense here. And together, Woods and Reznov gaslight Mason into, fuck, I still don't know what exactly they want from him. And while Woods and Reznov are busy making Mason feel even crazier than he already canonically is, that's it. Nothing, that's the end. That's where the cutscenes end. That's where the audio logs finish. This is what we're left with. Presumably this is the first act in what was supposed to be the campaign, but boy am I glad they didn't make it, man. What the And now I'm really sorry on behalf of all of us here at Replay Mode that I would just leave you hanging like this, but like, let's be honest, did you really want to see the rest of this story? But what is important, and the reason that I'm making this video, is that technically, this is all canon. After the events of Cold War, after the events of BO6, after whatever the fuck the next Treyarch game is next year, no matter what happens next, you will have to sit there knowing that the legacy of Alex Mason, of Woods, Hudson, Menendez, fucking Reznov, is that they're all going to be resurrected in the year 2040 by Mason's granddaughter. And then she's gonna re-torture Mason, make Menendez the most powerful man in the world, do the horizontal hokey pokey with Woods, and sell Hudson as part of the worst battle pass system in franchise history. And you just have to live with that. You just need to sit in that for a little bit, because I did that, and let me tell you, I lost a few years. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll pick a lucky subscriber to give you my Savannah Mason doll. I've had this for years. Huge Savannah Mason fan.